Here they are. One is Lady Pharmacist owned by the Newcastle Stable with Jack Daly. 2 Amber Plumstead owned by Paul Gillenwater with Brad Henners. 3 is Look Deb owned by Ron Newton. Bob Harper drives. 4 This Is My Life is owned by Sam Noble Jr. with Chip Noble driving. 5 Carlin's Town Girl owned by Russell Hare with Mike Price. 6 Sharp Trap Shooter is owned by Clark, Bosch, and Fetcher, Dean Gillespie. 7 She's a Nuke is owned by Jones and Charles, Mike McNabb. And the 8 is Johanna owned by Bob Griffith with Sandy Beatty. 7 minutes until post. First race field is in the backstretch, and there they go. They're off and pacing. Lady Pharmacist takes the lead. Amber Plumstead alongside second. Carlin's Town Girl center the course third. Along the inside, Look Deb is fourth. 3 deep, that's Johanna looking for a seat in fifth. This Is My Life 6 by 2. And then it's Sharp Trap Shooter and She's a Nuke. 10 lengths cover the field as they race midway through the turn on their way to the head of the stretch. Lady Pharmacist and Jack Daly have opened up 2.5 lengths. Amber Plumstead now draws a closer second. Gap of 2 lengths back. Look Deb is third. Carlin's Town Girl on the outside gaining ground early from fourth. Followed by This Is My Life, Johanna. Then it's Sharp Trap Shooter and She's a Nuke. Passing the stands for the first time, leading the way, Lady Pharmacist. Lady Pharmacist, she's going to try to wire him. She's got a 2-length command now on Amber Plumstead in second. Carlin's Town Girl is hung on the outside third, followed by Look Deb fourth. That's a break of 3 lengths for the back to the second flight, made up of This Is My Life, Sharp Trap Shooters underway, then it's Johanna and She's a Nuke. Over to halftime, the field is being led by Lady Pharmacist. 4-1 shot. Lady Pharmacist leads a length. Carlin's Town Girl must drive on the outside second. Amber Plumstead, the favorite, is getting the perfect trip in the pocket third. Halftime 58-4. Second over, moving with cover. This Is My Life is going to have to circle 3 wide and has 3 to make up in fourth position. Also getting underway there, Sharp Trap Shooter dives down to the inside. Then it's She's a Nuke with 5 lengths to make up. 2.5 lengths back to Johanna. Look Deb bows out. She is now the trailer. 5/16 out as they head for the far turn. It's been Lady Pharmacist every step of the way. Amber Plumstead now a clear-cut second. This Is My Life stalled on the outside third. And Sharp Trap Shooter's making some progress at the rail in fourth, 3/4 in 1:28 flat. Round to the head of the stretch. It's Lady Pharmacist by a length and a quarter. Amber Plumstead poised to strike in second. This Is My Life on the outside, followed by Sharp Trap Shooter. She's a Nuke extreme outside, driving through the final 8th mile. Lady Pharmacist on top. Amber Plumstead. Here comes Sharp Trap Shooter way down the rail, far outside. She's a Nuke is kicking in. Amber Plumstead, She's a Nuke extreme outside with Sharp Trap Shooter. Those 3 at the wire look like the 2 Amber Plumstead, tight for second. Back to the winner's circle was number 2, Amber Plumstead, a 6-year-old daughter of Beach Towel out of Belle Plumstead by Storm Damage. Owned by Paul Gillenwater of Helen, Ohio. Mark Gillenwater, the winning trainer. Brad Hanners, the winning driver, 158-4. It's official, 2-7 exact is $71 even. Try 276, $266.40. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we direct your attention down to the winner's circle. As we have for the past couple of months here, we're honoring some of our long-term employees at Scioto Downs, and we have so many of them. Becky Rowland has been a mutual clerk here for 19 years. Before that, she worked in concessions. She became a part of the Scioto Downs family, much the same as many other employees. Her mother worked here and suggested that she join the fun. And her children, Derek, Rachel, Kim, and Melissa, have all worked here at Scioto Downs at one time or another as well. Rod Harris is also being honored tonight. Rod answered an ad in the newspaper for mutual help at Scioto Downs and thought it would be a good way to earn a little extra money and get out of debt. 19 years later, he's still in debt, but he loves the place. He likes the friendly atmosphere and the fast pace associated with his job. Rod is not only a mutual clerk, he also handles the information window under the grandstand. 2 jobs are not enough to keep him busy. He also raises llamas, donkeys, ducks, and geese on a farm near Alum Creek. We honor Becky Rowland, Rod Harris, and thank all of our long-term employees for their dedication to Scioto Downs. Here they are for the second. One is Towner's Brandy, owned by Denise Tharps with Randy Tharps. 2, Lady Bedard, owned by Noah Stover with Brad Henners. 3 is Janina, owned by Stidham and Rafferty, Rocky Stidham. 4, Screaming in the Night, is owned by Westgate Motors with Chip Noble. 5, Swipe Street, is owned by Ed Mullinax, Bob Harper drives. And the 6, Flippant, is owned by Kenneth Burns with Jamie Dunlap. 7 horses out, post time in 7 minutes. Starting gate is now in motion, and the second race field is moving through the turn. They're lining up in the backstretch, and there they go. And they're off. They're going to get away in line-up order. Towner's Brandy, Lady Bedard, Janina, Screaming in the Night, Swipe Street, and Flippin' as they race around the far turn. It's Randy Tharps and Towner's Brandy on the lead. Towner's Brandy by a length and a quarter. Hanners and Lady Bedard sit the 2-hole trip with Janina third, 3.5 lengths back to Screaming in the Night, who is 2 clear of Swipe Street. Flippin' is the early trailer, 10 lengths off the pace. And Rocky Stidham and Janina pull the 3-hole, coming up to challenge Towner's Brandy in 28-1. Passing the stands for the first time, Janina on the outside, and Towner's Brandy passes the torch to Janina. She looks to clear off under the wire with 5/8 to go. Towner's Brandy back to second. Lady Bedard is third, 2.5. Screaming in the Night is fourth. Then we come to Swipe Street, who is 2 clear of Flippin', who remains the trailer. All gaps are closed as they race around the turn on the way to the half-mile pole with Janina, your new leader. 6-5 favorite Janina fronts the field by a length and a half. Along the inside, Towner's Brandy is racing in second. And there goes Harper and Swipe Street, first over and gaining ground on the outside third. Followed by Lady Bedard back to fourth. Screaming in the Night swings out to pick up cover fifth. She's still 4 lengths off the pace. And 2 back to Flippant. The trailer, halftime 58-1. Down the backstretch and 3/8 out. It's Janina 3 parts of a length. Swipe Street to her flank in second. Towner's Brandy is third. Screaming in the Night, 2 off the pace, moving with the cover in fourth. Lady Bedard shuffle back fifth, and 2 more lengths back to Flippin', who has 5 to make up and is trailed throughout. They're at the 3/4, and the top pair on even terms, Janina and Swipe Street, and 1:27-3. Around the far turn, Janina on the inside, Swipe Street on the outside, and Swipe Street has her nose in front. Janina fights back at the rail. Just in behind, we have Towner's Brandy, Screaming in the Night up on the outside. Lady Bedard is way down the rail as they straighten up and try for the wire. Swipe Street on the outside, Janina along the inside. Towner's Brandy, Lady Bedard is way down the rail. 5 of them going to hit the wire together. In the inside, it's Lady Bedard who sneaks on through to just nail it. Then it was a 3-way photo for place, either Towner's Brandy, Janina, or Screaming in the Night. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a print for show. Judges have requested a print for show. Back-to-back wins for Brad Henners. This time he scores with the 2, Lady Bedard, a 10-year-old daughter of Billy Dard, out of Courageous Tip by Captain Courageous, owned by Noah Stover, trained by Jeff Stover. Brad Hanners in the bike, 1:57.4. First win on the season for the 10-year-old mare, Lady Bedart. $4 even. Here's your rundown. Towner's Brandy third in a dead heat. Lady Bedart the winner. Janina third in a dead heat. Screaming the Night second. Swipe Street fifth. Flippin'. Here they are for the third race. One is Pipe Creek Robin, owned by Eddie Poling with Jack Daly. 2 Max Philly, owned by Minch and Overmeyer. Brad Hanners drives. 3 O'Dame Dulac is owned by Blair and Martindale. Art Jones. 4 Show Me Love, owned by Eddie George with Bob Harper. 5 Cam's Magic Dancer is owned by Larry Johnson Jr. with Rick Dingledine. 6 Artistasia, owned by Brook Ends 3 Racing Inc. Ron Steck. 7 is Michael Graney's L and Bill Walters. 8 Lots of Sex Appeal is owned by Edwin Ellis with Sean McAleese. 9 Marie Claire is owned by Carol Tharps with Randy Tharps. 7 minutes. Starting gate is rolling. And they're off. O'Dane Dulac leaves with Pipe Creek Robin at the rail. L is driving up on the far outside, along with Lots of Sex Appeal in fourth. Show Me Love is fifth. Marie Claire scoots through to be sixth and dives down to the rail now. Then it's a length and a half on the back, and we come to Max Philly, Cam's Magic Dancer. Artistasia is the trailer. As they race to the head of the stretch for the first time, Pipe Creek Robin leads the way. It's Pipe Creek Robin by 2 lengths. With O'Dame Dulac in second. Next in line, Ellis third by 2. Marie Claire is racing in fourth, followed by Lots of Sex Appeal. Opening quarter, fast 27-3 in front of the stands for the first time. 15-1 long shot. Pipe Creek Robin is going to try to wire them again. Pipe Creek Robin leads it by 2.5 lengths. She's tracked by O'Dame Dulac in second, with L racing in third. Marie Claire is fourth. And there goes Rick Dingledine and Cam's Magic Dancer. First up with a rush on the outside in fifth. Lots of Sex Appeal is back to sixth. And then picking up cover on the outside is Artistasia. Show Me Love now second last, and the trailer is Max Philly. She's off the rail with 8 to make up. Halftime at 58-1 off the turn and down the backstretch. It's still Pipe Creek Robin on an open lead. Pipe Creek Robin by 2 lengths. O'Dame Dulac is second. Bill Walters and L are gaining on the outside. Third now into second. Cam's Magic Dancer is following that move. Second over with 3 to make up in fourth. Marie Claire gapped out at the rail, hemmed in fifth. Third over is Artistasia, followed by Lots of Sex Appeal in Nude's Racing Room. Max Philly with a long way to come, and Show Me Love is last. They're at the 3 quarters, 1:27-1. Around the far turn, it's Pipe Creek Robin holding off a challenge from L on the outside, but she's still there pressing. A length and a half back, O'Dame Dulac is racing in third. Cam's Magic Dancer is not doing enough on the outside fourth. Artistasia, Max Philly, extreme outside as they drive through the final 8th mile. L takes a narrow lead. O'Dame Dulac is way down the rail, followed by Artistasia. Max Philly on the far outside is in gear. It's L on top. Here's Max Philly on the outside, getting up. L to go second. Then it was Artistasia third and Pipe Creek Robin fourth. Second straight win, 1:57-2, a lifetime best. 5-year-old daughter of Noble Ann Sam at a Max Barbie by Crash. So by Tim Minch and Marcia Overmeyer of Ohio. Tim Minch the trainer, Brad Hanners in the bike. 1:57-2 for Max Philly. Here they are for race 4. 1 is Harriet, owned by Stidham and Rafferty, Rocky Stidham. 2 is Ideal Lookin', owned by Jerry Downey, Kane Kaufman drives. 3 Civil Suit is owned by Nina Sands with Jack Daly. 4 is Sugar Valley Angel, owned by Robert Pence with Brad Hanners. Number 5 is Mapleview Oprah, owned by Connie Messler with Jim Daly driving. 6 Here Puppy is owned by the Rose Love Stable, Chulig and Metters, Bob Harper. And the 7 is High Roller Cam, owned by Eleanor Collier with Randy Tharps. 7 minutes to post. Fourth race pacers lining up, and there they go. And they're off. Ideal Looking and Civil Suit leave together. They're a length and a half clear of Harrietta at the rail in third. Outside here, Puppy driving up and looks to get good early position there in fourth. The gap of 2 lengths further back, and we come to Sugar Valley Angel, followed by Maple View Oprah. High Roller Cam is last. Midway through the turn, heading to the top of the lane, it's Civil Suit and Jack Daly. They come away with the lead by a length. Ideal Looking second, and there's Harrietta and Rocky Stidham on the move early from third. Here Puppy tightens down then in fourth, 3.5 lengths further back, and we come down to Sugar Valley Angel as they pass the opening quarter in 28 1/5. Passing the stands for the first time, and Harrietta sweeps to the front and opens up now by 3 lengths. With Civil Suit back to second, 2.5 Ideal Looking is third, and here Puppy first over on the outside fourth. Following cover, High Roller Cam from the back of the pack is fifth, and that one has 2 horses beaten. They are Sugar Valley Angel and Maple View Oprah. Over to halftime, it's Harrietta. Rocky Stidham trying to throttle her down. She leads it by 2 from Civil Suit Ideal Looking. Here Puppy on the outside with High Roller Cam. Sugar Valley Angel and Maple View Oprah just 57-2 for the half, 29-1 on the second split. As they straighten up down the backside, it's Harrietta 2.5 lengths. Civil Suit is second. Here Puppy is stalled on the outside. She's starting to retreat a bit in third position. Ideal Looking comes through at the rail. High Roller Cam will need to circle off that cover. Sugar Valley Angel needs racing room. And then it's Maple View Oprah who's got 6 to make up at the back of the pack. Harrietta in 126 flat. Around the far turn, Harrietta by 2. She hasn't shaken off Civil Suit just yet. Ideal Looking looks to swing to the outside. Here Puppy is backing up between horses. Sugar Valley Angel is gaining some ground at the rail. Off the turn and driving through the final 8th mile. And this one is Harrietta by 2 lengths. Civil Suit along the inside. Ideal Looking is closing in on the outside. Harrietta with something in reserve, though, and Harrietta will win it by 3. Ideal Looking second, and Show Money goes to the 3 Civil Suit. Harriet is back in the winner's circle for the 3rd time this season. She's a 5-year-old daughter of Bob Rickles out of Harvat, Hanover by Big Towner, owned by Rhonda Stidham and Carrie Rafferty of Ohio and California. Rocky Stidham trains and drives 155-1. Trophy in this one being presented by everyone from Certified Roofing. Welcome to Scioto Downs. 1-2 exact of $49.20. Try 1-2-3, $94.20. Here they are for race 5. 1 is Speedy Be Sure, owned by June Baird with Bob Harper. 2 I Need New Nikes is owned by Hassel and Moyer. Brad Henners drives. 3 and the 4 are both out. The 5 is High Ticket by Ish, Fought, and Ish, J. Cross. 6 Noble Marge is owned by Summers and Churches, Jack Daly. 7 is the Corian Stables, Janelle Mindell and Randy Tharps. 8 Bessie B, owned by Beulah Bigley with Jamie Dunlap. 9 Rocky Electra is owned by Milo Condit with Chip Noble. And the 10 Forbidden Romance is owned by 39 K Racing Stable, Kane Kaufman. 6 minutes on till post. Is moving through the backstretch, and there they go. And they're off. Bessie B from the far outside. I Need New Nikes is there along the inside. Also driving up is Rocky Electra with Janelle Mindale getting away in 4th. Speedy Be Sure is 5th by a length. High Ticket on the outside is racing in 6th, followed by Forbidden Romance, and Noble Marge is last. Midway through the turn on the way to the top of the stretch, and Bessie B leads the way. Bessie B by 2. Rocky Electra takes the tuck in 2nd, and I Need New Nikes is out driving up early from 3rd, 26-4 for the opening quarter. Passing the stands for the first time, Bessie B has a challenge from I Need New Nikes, and she goes right on by. I Need New Nikes opens up by 2. Bessie B back to 2nd, 2.5 lengths. Rocky Electra is 3rd, 2 back. Janelle Mindale is racing in 4th. First over, High Ticket, the outside is 5th. Speedy Be Sure is back racing in 6th, followed by Forbidden Romance. Noble Marge is off the rail trailing. Over to halftime, I Need New Nikes shows the way, but with a rush, here's High Ticket on the outside, and that one looks to brush to the front. 57 seconds flat for the half. Out of the turn and down the backstretch, and it's High Ticket working her way to the front. She's trying to clear off from I Need New Nikes, who's being hustled up by Brad Anders, and trying to keep the rail to herself. 2.5 lengths back. Bessie B is gapped out in 3rd. 2 back. Forbidden Romance, the outside in 4th. Rocky Electra racing in 5th. Noble Marge is 6th, followed by Janelle Mindale, and 3 back to Speedy Be Sure. And I Need New Nikes does not surrender the rail. She battles back and reclaims the top spot in 1:25 and 2. Around the far turn, I Need New Nikes, a length and a quarter. Bessie B is 2nd. High Ticket is all done, dropping back between horses 3rd. Far outside is Forbidden Romance along with Noble Marge as they drive through the final 8th mile. It's I Need New Nikes on top. Rocky Electra dives to the inside 2nd. Bessie B on the outside. Noble Marge to the far outside. It's Rocky Electra on top, and she will win it. Rocky Electra tight for 2nd, either Bessie B or Noble Marge. Rocky Bogart out of Felicitations by Strikeout, owned by Milo Condit, trained by Darrell Whitaker. The winning rider, driver, is Chip Noble, 1:56, flat, tying the lifetime best she set this season. Here they are for the 6th. One is Jules Flight, owned by Connie Messler with Jim Daly. 2 Our Sleeping Beauty is owned by Michael and Leslie Stewart. Brad Henners drives. 3 is Gal Pal, owned by Kohler, Gaskin, and Gaskin, Ron Steck. 4 More Sugar Added, owned by Terry Hall with Tony Hall. 5 Made in Ohio, USA, owned by Deloy Apple with Charles Peter. 6 Our Calico, owned by Dana Taylor. Bob Harper drives. 7 Face the Facts, owned by Boer and Boer with Jack Daly. 8 is JR's Tilt, owned by Dylan Morgan and McCumber Jr., Ricky McCumber in the bike. 7 minutes. Our Sleeping Beauty is first away. Jill's Flight is driving through at the rail, and now she takes the lead. It's Jill's Flight by a length and a quarter, putting Our Sleeping Beauty in the pocket. 2nd, length and a half back. More Sugar Added drops in 3rd. 2.5 lengths further back. And we come to Our Calico, followed by Gal Pal, Made in Ohio, USA. Face the Facts, and the trailer is JR's Tilt. About 20 lengths cover the field. They're fairly well spread out as they hit the opening quarter. Jill's Flight is there first in 27 and 1. Passing the stands for the first time, it's Jill's Flight by a length and a half. Tracked by Our Sleeping Beauty in the pocket. 2nd, length and a half back. More Sugar Added is 3rd. 2 back, Our Calico. Tightens down in 4th. Another 2 more to Gal Pal. 2.5 to Made in Ohio, USA, who is 3rd last to Face the Facts and JR's Tilt. All gaps are closed as they race single file into the clubhouse turn, being led by Jill's Flight. Jill's Flight leads the way by a length and a quarter. Our Sleeping Beauty is 2nd, followed by More Sugar Added in 3rd. Next in line, Our Calico is 4th. Ron Steck takes Gal Pal to the outside in 5th, followed by Made in Ohio, USA, who's hemmed in 6th position. Then it's Face the Facts underway, and JR's Tilt is last, 57 and 4. So the leader gets a 30 and 3 second split, a bit of a breather there for Jill's Flight, who continues to control the pace. It's Jill's Flight by a length and a half. Our Sleeping Beauty been right there 2nd all the way. More Sugar Added is being called on for her best. She's 3 off the pace and looking to gain ground. 3 lengths back to Our Calico. Gal Pal not doing enough. 1:26 and 1. Around the far turn, Jill's Flight a length and a quarter. More Sugar Added coming to her on the outside 2nd. Our Sleeping Beauty right there in the pocket 3rd. Our Calico shoots the gap in 4th as they drive through the final 8th mile. Jill's Flight is under urging Our Sleeping Beauty down the inside. More Sugar Added still closing in the center. Our Sleeping Beauty strikes the front and she edges away from Jill's Flight 2nd and More Sugar Added 3rd. Back to the winner's circle is number 2, Our Sleeping Beauty. She picks up her 4th win on the season, a Sandman Hanover mare. Out of Bye Bye Sleepyhead by Bye Bye Andy, owned by Michael and Leslie Stewart of Marysville. Michael Roche, the winning trainer. Brad Hanners now has 4 on the night. 154 and 4, it's her lifetime best. 2-1 exact of 41.80. Try 214, $143. And 3 of 3 in the pick 3, 505.60. Here they are for the 7th race. Number 1 is Rosie's Scooter, owned by Stevens, Nocera, and Murphy. Sean McAleese. 2, Tickle Me Wick, owned by Stephen Watkins with Bob Harper. 3, Kimtastic, owned by Roger Peterman with Jamie Dunlap. 4, Carol G, owned by Scott Robinson, Brad Handers drives. 5, Bitter Ribs, owned by the Darby's Edge Stable, Bainter and Darrow, Ryan Holton. 6, Rivulet Hanover, owned by William Monnier with Kane Kaufman. 7 is Noble Mamsel, owned by George Sharp with Randy Tharps. 8, Elko's Beauty, owned by Betty Jean Sizelove with Ricky McCumber. And the 9 is Quizzical, owned by David Ehrenberg II. Charlie Neff drives. 6 minutes. And they're off. Off stride goes the 5, Bitter Ribs. Bitter Ribs is on a break. 5 of them vie for the early lead. From between horses, Carol G, Rivulet Hanover on the outside, Quizzical driving up on the far outside, Rosie Scooter at the rail, and the first to back off is Kimtastic, who gets away now in 5th. 2.5 lengths further back, and we come down to Tickle Me Wick, followed by Noble Mamsel, and then it's Elko's Beauty, who is 2 clear of Bitter Ribs, the trailer. They wheel by the opening quarter, past that station in a fast 27 seconds flat, and leading the way on top of the field, it's Rosie Scooter and Sean McAleese. They've got command by a length and a quarter. In the pocket second is Carol G. Here's Quizzical with a rush on the outside third to challenge for the lead now. Picking up cover, Kimtastic is racing in 4th. Tickle Me Wick third over in 5th. With a long gap in front of her, Rivulet Hanover is racing 6th to the inside of Noble Mamsel in 7th position as they race around the turn on the way to the half-mile pole. On the outside, Quizzical with the neck in front of Rosie Scooter, 56 and 3. Off the turn and down the backstretch, it's Quizzical by a half a length. Rosie Scooter is second. Kimtastic looks to be a loaded third, and Jamie Dunlap looks to tip her off cover. Next in line, Carol G is locked in, racing in 4th, followed by Tickle Me Wick in 5th. And then we come down to Rivulet Hanover, followed by Noble Mamsel. Bitter Ribs is in gear from the back of the pack, and then it's Elko's Beauty who trails the field. They're at the 3/4, and it didn't work out for Kimtastic. Rosie Scooter battles back to reclaim the lead in 1:26 and 1. Around the far turn, Rosie Scooter by a length, and Bitter Ribs, after the early miscue, is roared up into contention on the far outside. A length and a half farther back to Carol G racing in 3rd, followed at the rail by Rivulet Hanover. Noble Mamsel up on the outside as they bend off the turn and drive through the stretch. Bitter Ribs out in the center of the course takes the lead. Rosie Scooter is back to 2nd, followed by Carol G in 3rd. Bitter Ribs drawing out to win it, tight for 2nd. Looks like the ones, Rosie Scooter over the 4, Carol G. Back to the winner's circle is number 5, Bitter Ribs, a 4-year-old daughter of Kimtastic. Got a bit of damage by storm damage by the Darby's Edge Stable, Bainter and Darrow. Virgil Morgan Jr. trains Ryan Holton, the winning driver, in 1:56 and 2. 5-1 exact at $99.80. Try 514, 469.60. Twin try carryover into Saturday night's card, $3,245. Here's your rundown. Rosie Scooter 2nd, Tickle Me Wick 5th, Kimtastic 9th, Carol G 3rd, Bitter Ribs the winner, Rivulet Hanover 6th, Noble Mamsel 4th. Here they are for the 8th race. Fillies and Mares Open. Number 1 is Ms. Charmer, owned by Sam Noble Jr. with Chip Noble driving. 2 is out. 3 is El Duque, owned by Thomas and Kirkwood. Brad Hanners on the bike. 4 Sharp Reward, owned by Ehrenberg and Diskins with Charlie Neff. 5 Emmett T. Hard is owned by Michael Pointer with Jamie Dunlap. 6 Pan's Peanut Butter, owned by Charles Autry, Randy Tharps drives. 7 is Sage Sabra, owned by Jerome Grogan with Kane Kaufman on the bike. 8 Chairman's Taylor, owned by Ronald Newton with Elliot Deaton. And the 9 Beep Beep Zip Tang is owned by Nina Sams with Jack Daly. 6 minutes. Open, and there they go. And they're off. 4 Sharp Reward is off stride, trailing the field. Pan's Peanut Butter from the center quickly cuts over, takes the lead, opens up by 3. Ms. Charmer is 2nd, El Duque is 3rd, length and a half back. Emmett T. Hart is 4th by 2. Then we come down to Sage Sabra, followed by Chairman's Taylor on the outside. Sharp Reward is now racing second last to Beep Beep Zip Tang, who trails 15 off the pace. Rolling around to the head of the stretch, it's Pan's Peanut Butter on that open 3-length lead from Ms. Charmer and El Duque, 27 and 4 for the opening quarter. Passing the stands for the first time, Pan's Peanut Butter on the lead. Pan's Peanut Butter by 3 lengths. Being pursued by Ms. Charmer, who now draws a closer second and is a length and a half clear of El Duque, who remains in 3rd. Jamie Dunlap swings to the outside fourth with Emma T. Hart giving cover to Sage Sabra. Then it's 2 lengths further back, and we come to Chairman's Taylor, who is 2 clear, Sharp Reward. And Beep Beep Zip Tang swings off the rail and has 8 lengths to make up. Over to halftime. Pan's Peanut Butter on top, soon to be joined by Emma T. Hart on the outside. 57-4 for the half. Off the turn and down the backstretch. Pan's Peanut Butter 3 parts of a length. Emma T. Hart applying heavy pressure on the outside second. It's another half a length back, and we come to Ms. Charmer at the rail in third. Length and a half back, and El Duque is still at the rail in fourth. Sage Sabra, the outside gaps covered, 3 off the pace in fifth. Followed by Chairman's Taylor, Beep Beep Zip Tang, and now far back trailing again is Sharp Reward at the 3/4, and Emma T. Hart is wearing down Pan's Peanut Butter and now clears the rail in 1:25-4. Around the far turn, Emma T. Hart now by 3 lengths. Ms. Charmer rallies on the outside into second. Pan's Peanut Butter back to third, followed by El Duque, who's got 5 lengths to make up, driving through the final 8th mile, and Jamie Dunlap starts to get after Emma T. Hart. She leads it by 3. Late pace Chairman's Taylor, followed at the inside by Pan's Peanut Butter outside El Duque, but it's Emma T. Hart to win it. El Duque up for second with Chairman's Taylor third. Charm by Roddy Hanover. Owned and trained by Michael Pointer of Cincinnati. Jamie Dunlap in the bike. Mile up in 1:54-3. It's her 7th win on the season. Much improved this year. Emma T. Hart takes the open. 5-3 exact to $40. Try 5-3-8, $926.80. Run down for the 8th race. Ms. Charmer 4th. Bunny Wabbit scratched. El Duque 2nd. Sharp Reward was 8th. Emma T. Hart the winner. Pan's Peanut Butter 5th. Sage Sabra 6th. Chairman's Taylor 3rd. Beep Beep Zip Tang 7th. Top Down 4. Scratch 2. 8-1-5-6-3-7. 9th race in 14 minutes at 9:45. 10 Artist Impression Randy Tharps. Exact as in trot. Need Noi BB. Owned by Michael Graney with Bill Walters driving. 2 is Little White Lies, owned by the Enviro Stables Limited with Ryan Holton. Number 3 is TL Falcon, owned by Paul Reesert. Richard Reesert drives. 4 Sue Siren is owned by Gilmore Rogers and Batchy, Rick Heitman. 5 is Cam Sweetest, owned by Trish Bishler with Bob Harper. 6 Fritzy Chi-Chi is owned by William Fritz with Brad Henners. 7 She's a Barbie Doll is owned by Paddock and Wiesenaver with Elliot Deaton. Number 8 is We Cam, owned by Howard Taylor with Jack Daly. 9, Bestique is owned by Daniel Considine with Chip Noble, and the 10, Artist Impression, is owned by James Stambaugh with Randy Tharp. 6 minutes. They're off. Cam Sweetest from the center leaves with Fritzy Chi-Chi. That pair opens up 2 lengths on Need Noi BB in third to the inside of Sue Siren in fourth. 2.5 lengths back to Little White Lies, followed by Bestique. Artist Impression is next in line, about 10 off the early pace. And then we come down to TL Falcon, who has 2 horses beaten. They are She's a Barbie Doll, and We Cam is last. Off stride into the infield goes the 1, Need Noi BB. Passing the quarter on top is Fritzy Chi-Chi in 27-1. In front of the stands for the first time, it's Fritzy Chi-Chi a length and a quarter. Tracked by Cam Sweetest in second. 2 back, Sue Siren is racing third, 2.5. And Little White Lies is in fourth. Length and a half more, Bestique is racing in fifth. Artist Impression looks to flush cover the outside sixth. Following that move is She's a Barbie Doll, followed by We Cam outside of TL Falcon. And now back pacing, still inside the pylons and coming out of them now is the 1, Need Noi BB. Over to halftime, Fritzy Chi-Chi leads the way. Fritzy Chi-Chi by a length and a half. Cam Sweetest, Little White Lies is on the move. 58-3, backing it down considerably, just 31-2 on the second split for the leader, and that is Fritzy Chi-Chi. Fritzy Chi-Chi by 2. Outside Little White Lies with the nose in front of Cam Sweetest for second position. Length and a half back, She's a Barbie Doll gaining ground on the far outside, now in a fourth, just 2 off the pace. Completely locked in between horses. That's Artist Impression racing in fifth. Sue Siren is hemmed in at the rail in sixth. The far outside, it's We Cam with Bestique and TL Falcon. Fairly well bunched in 127-2 around the far turn. And it's Fritzy Chi-Chi from the get-go leads it by a length. Little White Lies trying to hang tough, followed by Cam Sweetest at the rail. Sue's Siren way down the inside as they straighten up and drive for the wire. And Hanners goes to work on Fritzy Chi-Chi. She responds, opens up by 2.5 lengths. Battles on for second. Cam Sweetest, Little White Lies, and Sue's Siren. But it's Fritzy Chi-Chi, 3 straight. Little White Lies was second, with Cam Sweetest third. Fritzy Chi-Chi, a 4-year-old daughter of Cam's Magic Trick, out of Kissin Almahurst by Falcon Almahurst, known by William Fritz, trained by Richard Fritz. Brad Hanners now has 5 on the night, and Fritzy Chi-Chi now has 7 on the season, 155 and 4. $6-2 exact at $15.20. Try 625, 59 even. Here they are for the 10th. One is Money in My Pocket, owned by Purdue and Baker. Bob Harper drives. 2 More Than a Feelin' is owned by Bill Fleetwood with Jack Daly. 3 Stinging Scooters, owned by Red and Betty Shaw. Brad Hanners drives. 4 is Taramino, owned by Jeff Dennis with Randy Tharps. 5 Crisp is owned by Howard and Corey, Ryan Holton. And the 6 Eternal Camnation is owned by the Eternal Camnation stable with Jeff Miller. 7 minutes. Lining up for the feature, and there they go. And they're off. Taramina is out for the lead with Crisp from alongside, and Crisp goes on with it. Taramina back to second, gap of 2. Eternal Camnation well placed in third, and 5 lengths clear of Money in My Pocket racing in fourth. Length and a half more than a feelin', and Stinging Scooter is last. The race in 2 flights of 3 to the top of the stretch, with Crisp and Ryan Holton leading the way by 2 lengths. From Taramina, Eternal Camnation is driving up early. 5 lengths farther back to Money in My Pocket, More Than a Feelin', and Stinging Scooter. 27 seconds flat for the opening quarter. And Eternal Camnation, the champ, rushes to the front under the wire with 5/8 to go. Crisp is back to second, gap out 2.5. Taramina is third, same margin back. Money in My Pocket is racing in fourth. More Than a Feelin' to the inside of the trailer, Stinging Scooter, but Brad Hanners starts to get underway with her. She's got 7 to make up. Over to halftime, Eternal Camnation, a 2.5 length lead on Crisp. Taramina, Money in My Pocket. Stinging Scooter from the back of the pack has 1 horse beaten, More Than a Feelin', half in 55 and 4. Down the backstretch, just over 3/8 remaining, and it's Eternal Camnation now a bit settled down on the lead, leads it by a length. Here's the big challenger, Stinging Scooter, to flanker second, followed by Chris back to third. Money in My Pocket gaining ground the outside fourth. 2 lengths back to Taramina. More Than a Feelin' is last. They're double tiered and covered by 5 as they approach 3/4, and Eternal Camnation fighting off the challenge of Stinging Scooter. She leads a half a length in 1:24 and 3. Around the far turn, Eternal Camnation the neck in front. Stinging Scooter continues to bear down in second. Money in My Pocket looks to fan out 3 wide for the stretch drive, followed by Crisp as they straighten up and drive for home. Eternal Camnation under urging leads by a length. Stinging Scooter on the outside, Crisp on the inside. They're coming inside the final 16th. It's Eternal Camnation on top, and Eternal Camnation will prevail in the feature. Finishing second, Stinging Scooter with Crisp third in 1:53 and 2. $40. She's approaching $1 million in career earnings. This is the 3-year-old filly, Eternal Camnation, a daughter of Cam Fella out of Cool World by Annihilator, owned by the Eternal Camnation stable of Fort Wayne, Indiana, trained and driven by Jeff Miller. Mile in 1:53 and 2 for Eternal Damnation. Here's your rundown. Money in My Pocket, 5th. More Than a Field in 6th. Stinging Scooter, 2nd. Taramina, 4th. Crisp was 3rd. Eternal Damnation, the winner. Top down, 5, 6, 2, 4, 3, 1. Exactas and tries in the upcoming 11th race. 9, Fly Like an Angel, Scratch Sick. We'll have a driver for you shortly on the 8, Legacy's Terror. 13 minutes at 10:23. Here they are for the 11th race. 1 is Queen of Tucson, owned by Janice Stryker with Chip Noble. 2, Kimmy Lee, is owned by George Sharp. Randy Tharps drives. 3, Katie's Noble Lady, is owned by Everman and Trout. Bob Harper. 4, Lamora, is owned by Young and Andrews. Ernie Young. 5, Little Mo Ben, is owned by Val Bohm with Jack Franklin. 6, Princess Nikki, is owned by Paul Gillenwater. Brad Henners drives. 7 is Meredith Hall, owned by Jerry Grant with Elliott Deaton. 8, Legacy's Terror, is owned by Georges and Haig. Ricky McCumber. The 9 is out. 6 minutes. There they go. And they're off. Little Mo Ben from between horses. There's Princess Nikki from alongside. 4 deep is Meredith Hall. Lamora gets away in 4th, driving up on the outside. Legacy's Terror races in 5th. Next in line we have Kimmy Lee, followed by Queen of Tucson, who's second last to Katie's Noble Lady, the Triller. Round the far turn to the top of the stretch for the first time, and Brad Hanners leads the way with Princess Nikki. It's Princess Nikki by a length and a half. Racing in second is Little Mo Ben. Here's Meredith Hall with an early challenge on the outside third, the quarter in 27 and 4. Passing the stands for the first time, and Meredith Hall slowly clears off, cuts over, and leads it by 2 lengths. With a rush, Legacy's Terror storming up in a second, followed at the rail by Princess Nikki back to 3rd, following cover. Katie's Noble Lady from the back of the pack is now 4th. Then we come down to the inside, and Little Mo Ben racing in 5th. Kimmy Lee is alongside in 6th position, followed by Lamora and Queen of Tucson. They're over to halftime. Leading the way 3 parts of a length is Meredith Hall. Right at her flank, Legacy's Terror in 57 and 3. Second over in the flow, Katie's Noble Lady is 2 off the pace, racing in 3rd position. May have to go 3 wide sometime very soon. Princess Nikki is at the rail, saving ground. Next in line is Little Mo Ben, who's 3rd back at the rail, racing in 5th. 3rd over, Kimmy Lee is 6th. Lamora trying to come on from 3 deep, and 2 more lengths back to Queen of Tucson. They're approaching 3/4, and Meredith Hall leads the way, but here comes a challenge from Katie's Noble Lady on the outside, 1:26 and 3. Around the far turn, and it is Meredith Hall with the neck in front of Katie's Noble Lady, who continues to bear down in second. 3 lengths further back, and we come to Kimmy Lee in 3rd. On the outside, Lamora is racing 4th. Princess Nikki drops anchor as they straighten up and drive her home. It's Meredith Hall leading it by 2. Katie's Noble Lady still coming at her with Kimmy Lee in 3rd, but Meredith Hall outside Katie's Noble Lady. Meredith Hall prevails. Katie's Noble Lady 2nd, and Kimmy Lee 3rd. Back to the winner's circle is Meredith Hall, a 3-year-old Cam-Best filly out of Misty Rube. I Call for Rain, owned and trained by Jerry Grant of Pleasant Plain, Ohio. Elliott Deaton, the winning driver. 10th win on the season. Meredith Hall, 155 and 2. Queen of Tucson, 5th. Kimmy Lee, 3rd. Katie's Noble Lady, 2nd. Lamora, 4th. Little Mo Ben, 6th. Princess Nikki, 7th. Meredith Hall, the winner. Legacy's Terror, 8th. Fly Like an Angel, Scratch. Top down, 5, 3, 2, 4, 6, 7, 1, 8, Scratch. 13 minutes to post time for race 12. 9, Hand Towel, first time Lasix. Here they are for the 12th race. 1 is Margarita Daiquiri, owned by Ora Murphy Sr. with Sean McAleese. 2 Fax Phone, owned by Fred Schroeder Jr. with Charles Conrad. 3 G. Sine's Bud Light is owned by Terry Guion with Randy Tharps. 4 Lil's Legacy is owned by the Gates Mills Stable and Mark Deaton. Elliott Deaton drives. 5 Ashley's Penny is owned by Ronald Breckler with Brad Henners. 6 Brainchild, owned by Ellis Bryant Inc. with Jim Daly. 7 is Payway, owned by Robert Stand with Dean Collins. 8 is Racy Tudor, owned by Jones and Hunwick Farms, Ricky McCumber, and the 9 is Hand Towel. First time Lasix for Hand Towel. She's owned by Karen Murphy and Danny Perdue. Bob Harper is in the bike. 6 minutes. They're off and pacing. G-Sine's Bud Light from between horses comes away with the top spot. Driving up on the far outside are both Racy Tudor and Hand Towel. Down along the rail is Margarita Daiquiri in 4th. 2.5 lengths further back, and we come to Fax Phone in 5th. Brainchild is 6 by 2, followed by Ashley's Penny, Payway, and Lil's Legacy is last. Racing to the head of the stretch for the first time, it's G-Sine's Bud Light. The big favorite has got the lead by 2 lengths from Margarita Daiquiri and Hand Towel, opening up in 27 seconds flat. Passing the stands, G-Sine's Bud Light leads it 2. With Margarita Daiquiri drafting along in 2nd. Outside, Hand Towel looking to maybe drop in 3rd there, but Racy Tudor is now trying to close up the gap. 2.5 lengths back to Fax Phone, racing 5 off the pace in 5th position. Length and a half more to Brainchild, 2.5 back to Ashley's Penny, then 5 lengths back, and we come to Lil's Legacy. Payway is the back marker, 15 off the pace. Passing the half-mile pole, G-Sine's Bud Light leads the way in 55 3. Off the turn and down the backstretch, G-Sine's Bud Light a length and a quarter. Margarita Daiquiri sticking right with her in 2nd, 2 back, and we come to Racy Tudor in 3rd, length and a half more, and Fax Phone is 4th, and there goes Brainchild ranging up on the outside, 5th, 4th, now into 3rd. Following that move, Ashley's Penny is getting underway from mid-pack, then 3 more lengths to Lil's Legacy. Hand Towel could not go on, and 2 more to Payway. Approaching 3/4, G-Sine's Bud Light appears to be collared by Brainchild on the outside, half a length in front, 125 3. Around the far turn, G-Sine's Bud Light is battling back. Brainchild is right there. 3 lengths further back, and we have Margarita Daiquiri, followed by Ashley's Penny as they bend off the turn and drive to the final 8th mile. Brainchild goes on with it, and Brainchild's got the lead by a length. Ashley's Penny's closing in with Margarita Daiquiri at the rail. Extreme outside is Lil's Legacy. Racy Tudor splits horses. Brainchild in front. Finishing 2nd was Ashley's Penny. Looked like the 8 Racy Tudor for 3rd. Ellie in the bike. Scoring here in 1:55 3. That's a lifetime best and the 2nd win of the season for Brainchild. They are for the 13th. One is Likewise I'm Sure, owned by Kevin Trigg with Charlie Neff. 2 Free Dream is owned and driven by Jerry Kutchback Jr. 3 Better Laugh, owned by the Darby's Edge Stable and Ace and Pace Stables, Ryan Holton. 4 is Robert Dalrymple's Royal Alberta and Randy Tharps. 5 Spring Appeal, owned by Paul Gillenwater with Brad Henners. 6 On the High Seas, owned by Whole Investment Company, David Myers. 7 Luann Malone is owned by John DeBoer, Jack Daly on the bike. 8 Grand Scooter is owned and driven by Stephen Henninger. 9 Ped Rocket, owned by Mullinax and Detour with Bob Harper. 6 minutes. The gate is rolling for tonight's 13th race. They're off and pacing. Better Laugh from between horses, out for the lead. Ped Rocket driving up on the far outside. Gap of 2 lengths back. Free Dream gets away. Now 5 lengths off the pace, racing in 3rd. Next in line, Likewise I'm Sure, is 4th. The length and a half clear of Royal Alberta in 5th. Spring Appeal is racing in 6 by 3. Then we come down the high seas, Luann Malone and Grand Scooter. The top pair have opened up by 5 lengths. It's Better Laugh just in front of Ped Rocket to a fast quarter in 27 2. In front of the stands for the first time, leading the way. Ryan Holton wins the early battle with Better Laugh. Better Laugh by 2, with Ped Rocket just in behind, racing 2nd. Gap of 4 lengths back, and Free Dream is starting to draw in a closer 3rd. 2 lengths more, Likewise I'm Sure, is racing in 4th, followed by Royal Alberta, who looks to get underway from 5th. Now follows the move of Likewise I'm Sure. Next in line, we have Spring Appeal. 3 more to On the High Seas, Luann Malone and Grand Scooter. 12 lengths separate front to back as they race to halftime. Leading the way, it's Better Laugh in 58 seconds flat. Off the turn and down the backstretch. Better Laugh by 2. Pet Rocket is second. Free Dream is third. Likewise, I'm Sure, grinding it out uncovered. 3 off the pace, racing in fourth. Gap at 2 lengths back. Royal Alberta the outside fifth. Spring Appeal shoots the gap now at the inside in sixth. 2.5 lengths back to On the High Seas, who is in tandem with Luann Malone. Gapped out Trilling Grand Scooter. 5/16 out as they head for the far turn. Better Laugh still with the lead of a length and a half. Pet Rocket right there in behind, racing in second. Free Dream is now on the outside in third, followed by Spring Appeal at the rail in fourth. Likewise, I'm Sure is fifth, 3/4 in 1:27.1. Around to the top of the stretch. Better Laugh is the one to catch, leads it by a length. Outside Free Dream. Pet Rocket poised to strike from the rail. Third back at the rail is Spring Appeal as they drive to the final 8 mile. Better Laugh starts to get some urging because here comes Pet Rocket flying along the inside, followed by Free Dream on the outside. But it's Pet Rocket getting up to win it. Better Laugh second and Free Dream third. Pet Rocket in a lifetime best 157. Scores for Ed Mullinax, F.J. DeTore of Ohio, Dan Perdue the winning trainer, Bob Harper with the winning drive. It's a 3-year-old daughter by Pacific Rocket, out of Dionysian Lady by Sun Sam. It's official. 9-3 exact at $30.80. Trifecta 932 163.60. Fifth, Spring Appeal fourth. On the High Seas seventh. Luann Malone eighth. Grand Scooter was. Here they are for the 14th. One is Baylanda, under lease to Russell Britton with David Myers. 2 Lady Slapstick is owned by Vernon Byers Jr. with Randy Tharps. 3 Fox Valley Lioness is owned by Pollock and Byrne, Brad Hanners. 4 Perfect Leader is under lease to Robert Burns with Sandy Beatty. 5 Cherub's Example is owned by Kenneth Brooks, Kane Kaufman of the bike. 6 She's a Sodbuster, Sonny Levesque owns and drives. 7 Bam She's Out owned by Charles Park, Ryan Holton. 8 Starlight Tinsel is owned by Thomas Barnhart, Jack Daly drives, and the 9 horses out. 7 minutes. And they're off. Cherub's Example leaves from the center. There's Starlight Tinsel on the far outside. Lady Slapstick gets away in third, followed by Baylanda in fourth, a length and a half farther back. And we come to Fox Valley Lioness, Perfect Leader. She's a Sodbuster, and Bam She's Out. Racing around the far turn to the head of the stretch, and Jack Daly takes over with Starlight Tinsel and opens up 2 on Cherub's Example. And here's Baylanda flying on the outside third. Next in line, we have Lady Slapstick, followed by Fox Valley Lioness, 28-1 for the opening quarter. Passing the stands for the first time, and Baylanda clears off and leads it now by 2 lengths. Starlight Tinsel back to second. Same margin. Cherub's Example is gapped in third. 2.5. Lady Slapstick is racing in fourth, followed up by Fox Valley Lioness in fifth. Then we have Perfect Leader in sixth, and that horse has 2 horses beaten, and they are She's a Sodbuster, Bam She's Out, trails 12 off the pace. Around the turn on the way to the half-mile pole, it's Baylanda leading the way. Baylanda, Starlight Tinsel, first over on the outside. Here's Lady Slapstick in the third, 58-4. Following Lady Slapstick's cover, Fox Valley Lioness is second over, 3 off the pace in fourth. Cherub's Example is boxed in, racing in fifth. Third over, Perfect Leader is sixth. And then we come down to She's a Sodbuster, and Bam She's Out is off the cones with 7 to make up. Just less than 3/8 out as they head for the far turn. Baylanda on the inside. Right there on the outside is Lady Slapstick flanking her second. 2 lengths back, Starlight Tinsel, a clear-cut third. Another 2 more. Cherub's Example moves back into fourth. Fox Valley Line is struggling to get into gear on the outside and is now retreating in fifth. 128-1. Round to the top of the stretch. Baylanda the neck in front of Lady Slapstick in second. Length and a half back. Starlight Tinsel is right there in third. Cherub's Example looks to move to the outside fourth, followed by She's a Sodbuster as they drive to the final 8th mile. Baylanda now gives up the lead to Lady Slapstick. Lady Slapstick goes on with it. Late pace Starlight Tinsel. Cherub's Example far outside. She's a Sodbuster. Lady Slapstick to win it. Finishing second with Cherub's Example. It was tight for third. Either She's a Sodbuster or Starlight Tinsel. by Vernon Byers Jr. of Mechanicsburg. James Byers, the winning trainer, with Randy Thompson, the bike, 1:58 and 2. That'll wrap it up for live racing here tonight at Scioto Downs.